everybody? Welcome back to the Smoking Studios for another live episode of the Rocky Mountain Cigar Show. Really special guest with us tonight. It's his first appearance on the show, but everybody will know who he is because you've all been fans of his business partner that was a really good friend of ours in the show, as well as somebody who I consider to be a mentor. So really excited to have Justin Burnett, or as the rest of us know him as JB from Zeal Cigars. And odds are you all have seen his reviews because, I mean, let's be honest, it's one of the biggest cigar channels out there now on YouTube and Instagram, pretty much across most, if not all, of the platforms. And he has taken the reins and absolutely driven it great. And he's putting out videos still. So I know you guys are still following him. Really excited to have him on. Now, of course, some quick little show maintenance stuff here. We are going to be getting those cigars in from La Aurora. I apologize. They've taken some time to get over here. I don't know why. I don't write the rules on this stuff. It is just what it is, and I apologize, and I appreciate everyone's understanding in that. Don't worry, we've got shirts for everybody. Your stuff will be going out. I have everything else I need. So once I get that, we're going to be sending it all out your direction. Now, the only thing that I am having an issue with right now is for some reason, my Facebook page seems to have crashed. No fault of my own. I know I say this shit all the time. I swear, everybody, I had nothing to do with this. Trying to stream to it, absolutely not streaming to it at all. So go over, if reach out to everybody on Facebook that you know and share the YouTube. We are going to try to stop the Facebook one again and give it a quick little restart here. Let's see if we can kick this back off. All right. Now, again, very grateful to have Justin on. It's been a long time coming. And all right, well, without any other further ado, I thought I had some other stuff to talk about, but I really don't. And so I appreciate everybody tuning in, and let's go ahead and kick it off. Justin, how you doing, brother?
Bro, what's going on, Ryan?
Not too much, man. I honestly, dude, I'm a little nervous to have you on. I've never had you on, and we, and it's just, I don't know. It's just for me, a lot of feels are coming back, and I want to kind of touch on those right from the beginning here. But before we do, please go ahead, introduce yourself, and kick off the show.
Yeah, man. I'm JB from Zeal Cigar Review and Zeal Cigars, and currently am just recently become the new owner of Zeal Cigars. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. That's the journey that is preceding me within the next following months and years.
Okay, and so obviously, everybody that watches the show, you all know, it was March 5th of last year. Bradley Reith passed away, and that was JB's business partner.
My mentor,
And
my
I was to
best
say,
man.
in many ways, a lot more than that. He was a lot of that to a lot of us. And, we all like to say that he was to that to us, but the reality is he literally was it for JB. And so it means a lot knowing that his vision is carrying on within you. And obviously, you are the best person to carry this forward. And I know the family was into it because Brad was. And I'm really happy to see that they essentially are letting you take it over, and you bought it from them, is from what I understand, correct?
That is
Or you're
absolutely
in the
correct.
process of doing that.
So it's complete now.
Okay.
Yeah, there was so the actual purchase started in October, and technically was actually completed back in October, but I didn't feel comfortable saying that, mostly because I didn't want the devil doc coming and breaking my legs and saying, "You don't own the business, you still owe me money." So I didn't want to completely tell everybody everything until I was in a place that I felt comfortable talking about. And finally, we're kind of getting to that point now where I'm starting to kind of let people know what's going on, and kind of that's what happened, and that's what we're doing now. But yeah, that since October, I've pretty much been on my own with the business.
Okay. And before we get into the what are we smoking tonight segment, because obviously we're both smoking and having a little bit of a refreshing beverage as well. Um, Tell us a little bit about what this last year has been like in just in personal growth with you, because I'm not
Mm,
even talking about, because for those of you that don't know, he recently also got married. So like, there's been a lot of changes, but what has this past, you know 14, 15 months been like?
man, yeah. So it's been crazy, man. There's a lot that comes along with this, right? Like you always think you're grown up, and then something like this happens, and you got to grow up a little bit faster, and you realize that you got to change your mindset. And for me, I'm a worker bee, right? So like, you tell me, hey JB, I need you to get this stuff done today, and then from there we'll figure out what to do. So for me to flip that from being somebody who's just there to put the work in to being somebody that's now got to think about stuff from a business perspective. I got to think about the bills, the income, uh the sales that are going on, the newsletters, what's my video idea coming up, I got to edit the video. And so it can stack up really 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 quick, and it's really hard to stay motivated to do that stuff, especially because when it came to the videos, that was something that I was a part of. It wasn't something that I was doing. That was Brad's thing. He loved doing the videos and doing the social media and being in everybody's face. He loved it. That's what he loved to do. I mean, he did it on his days off when he was at home with his family. You don't do that stuff if you don't love doing it. Whereas me on the other side, dude, I'm a worker bee. I'm not a content creator. I hate being in front of the camera, bro. I mean, my mom couldn't even find pictures of me with any of my groomsmen or my best men that I've been friends with since elementary school. So like, I'm more shy when it comes to that. So that's been a really really hard switch for me. And I think people can see that. I think people can feel it, and I think you can kind of see the transition of some of the days where I was feeling a little bit better and happy about doing a video, and then other days where it seemed like somebody was making me do videos, like like I was just in the do- doing videos for Zeals for the Wreath family, and I was just chained up in the back. But that was not the case, and I didn't feel that way because of anything that was happening with the family. The family's been nothing but absolutely amazing. Yeah, and I couldn't ask for a better situation in that particular situation. Um, but yeah, for my own sake, it does feel like sometimes, I'm still kind of working out of that rut.
Sure. And it's a big shoe to fill, right? I mean, there's a lot there. And it's I'm not surprised. I mean, in the sense that the guy was larger than. And by the way, guys, this whole show is not going to be that. I'm touching on it because if I didn't, I feel like I would be doing a dissatisfaction to JB's life inside of the cigar business and what he took over. So it's not going to be a sad show. I promise you. We've got a lot to talk about, but I just, for me, I thought it was when I heard the number one thing that came to my mind business wise when obviously everything went down was, is it closing? And
Yeah.
then obviously after talking with you, to find out that you had decided to take it, was that always a plan? Meaning, we're like,
It was, man.
obviously decades down the road it was supposed to be, but was that always the plan?
So here's the thing. When Brad took this venture on, he basically worked for his parents. Not really, but kind of worked for mom and dad, right? We'll put it that way, just for the sake of this conversation. He told mom and dad, I'm going to give you 5 years in this business. Whether it fails, whether it takes off, I'm going to give you 5 years, and I'll reevaluate what I want to do from there. And to be honest, if 5 years would have came up and I wasn't here, it's possible he may have done something else. He may not have done something else. It's hard to say. He's always looking for something different, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
For me, when I came along, he saw somebody that he entrusted that he could do this with, and I think what I'm learning now is when he went on by himself, it was really hard because when you have somebody next to you for so long and then there's nobody next to you, there's a very big change that has to happen for you. And the easiest way that I can put this into terms that I understand personally is I'm not the kind of person that you're going to hire for a 30-minute comic stand-up set. But you bring me into an improv, bro, and I'm going to wreck that place. I feed off of others.
Sure, sure.
So to be to now have to do all that and self-motivate and feed off of yourself is kind of a little bit hard. And that's been, the challenge that I've had with the videos.
Yeah, and I totally see that. I not see that as in see that in the videos, but see that as in like
I can.
understand that. I used to say this to Brett all the time. I used to watch his videos to get better at doing mine because
Mm.
he had that charismatic. It doesn't matter. I'm the biggest thing in the room all the time. And I'm going to control everything in the room. And not in like a bad way or a negative way, but like he just, and I never met Brad. And this is the thing, like 3 years, talked with him all the time, played video games with him several
Every
nights a
night.
week,
Yeah,
every night a
right?
week, like
I
never
heard
met
about
him.
those games every morning. Dude, me and Ryan, bro, we were going at it last night in Call of Duty, dude. Let's go.
Well,
Uh,
I think more oftentimes than not, he scared the shit out of his family when he would just yell in the middle of the
the whole
house, and it's
families are
like
asleep and you.
midnight. So it's one of those. It's and because you used to do the charity, you played a ton with them,
Yep.
um, and I always felt that I was really happy, and a lot of us were really really happy when you decided to take it because we all know it was a long time before you wanted to. And Brad had a lot of pots in the fire with the soap and a lot, but the real love of his business was the cigars.
Yep.
He did that with the naming of it, Zeal, for a reason. And so kudos to you and cheers to you for officially assuming Zeal. And my guess is everybody, if you're drinking, raise a toast to Brad and JB on his new venture in life and love and smoke. And I know he's going to do great.
Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you too, man. I appreciate you too. And I think it's a really fitting time for you to kind of come on now onto these things because enough time has passed, and you can kind of focus on this is what I'm doing with the business now. So
Yeah.
let's kind of just start from there. What are when you took over and assumed, what were some of the things that major things you left in place and potentially major things that you were like, I'm gonna do them a little differently?
That's a really good question, man. And you know, all this really is gonna do is just really just solidify how strangely entwined mine and Brad's life was in a fate that was bigger than either one of us ever understood. And that's why we have a cigar called the Twisted Fate. Um, so first off, to answer the question you asked previously, because I got long-winded, I was supposed to buy into the business a year prior to the accident, and things kind of got held off. So yeah, the plan was for me to always buy in and do this with Brad. It wasn't for me to do it by myself, obviously. So,
Sure, yes. See,
but
I
yeah, that
had
was
thought you were already bought in to
no,
a
no,
percentage.
no.
I
So
so
that's
I
what I
just
was,
assumed because you were everything with him. I mean, you
bro. I was a
guys,
salaried
forgive the
employee, man.
term, you guys were like butt buddies in all
Yeah,
the videos and reviews, and it was always Brad JB, Brad JB, Brad JB. So
yeah.
I just assumed you were a partial percentage owner at that time.
I'm a freak of nature, man. I'm a guy that walks. Well, let me explain that real quick, and then I wanna have you ask me that question again because I kind of forgot what I was gonna say with it. But I'm kind of a freak of nature in the way that I walked into the cigar shop, met a guy, and immediately believed in his product and what he was doing. Immediately, to the point that I never even walked into another cigar shop in Phoenix once I started coming in here. Until I worked here for almost a year, I never set foot in another cigar shop in Phoenix. This was the only place I set foot in. I came into
Wow.
the door, I became a customer, I rotated a couple times, and then developed my relationship with Brad to the point to where this was the only place that I came. And then I ended up working here. So I'm a freak of nature in the way that I saw his vision and I believed in it and treated this business like it was my own, which is why you probably felt that way on the outside looking in. There wasn't a day that went by that Brad couldn't take a time off, take a month off, take a week off, take a day off, that he couldn't know that he couldn't leave this to me and I was going to take care of it as good, if not in some ways better than he did. So that's why I say I'm kind of a freak of nature. You don't meet when you get somebody like that in your life, if you're a business person or you own a business and you have somebody that's under your tutelage and you have that kind of trust in them that you know you can leave your business for a week and you don't even have to have your phone on because they got you, hold on to that person. Don't lose them. Because when you're gone, the legacy that you leave in this world is the only thing that you have left. Bradley Reed's legacy didn't die. It's going to
No.
continue to live on until I can't do it anymore. So
And
when
that's
you
why we were
have,
all happy that you took it.
so when you got somebody that's like that, that treats your property, your business, a nanny that treats your family like their own family, like those are the people you hold on to. Don't let them people go.
Yeah. No, and I mean you're 100% right too. In loyalty and but it requires you to also, like you had said, buy into, not just like believe in, but like buy into it. And you didn't financially buy into it until recently, but
Correct.
you emotionally, spiritually, physically bought into it,
Yep.
long before that. And
I drank that Kool-Aid, bro. He came in like the Kool-Aid man. Oh yeah, big Kool-Aid, dude. 100%, dude. I was drinking it 100%. Yeah, dude, Alex, it was Bruce, it was 100% destiny, man. I've had this conversation with so many people that are like on the fence of being believers and stuff like that, and I'm like, let me just tell you this story real quick. I could probably write a book about it, to be honest. Um, the divine intervention in my life and Bradley's life that led me to where I'm at now is um uncomprehendable.
what do you mean?
It's hard to understand, man. You really got to have faith in the fact that there was somebody else's hand driving the bus.
And that's a hard thing to do. And I would go back and forth with Brad. I was born and raised in the church myself. I know the Bible fair. I would say probably better than
Hey,
above average
we
person knows. You
we had
know,
conversations about some of those conversations. He's like, "Man, I don't know how to answer this sometimes. Like, what do you think when I get talk to Ryan next? Like, what should we talk about? Like, how should I don't what should I bring up about this? I gotta figure this out."
but the one thing I always told Brad is that I'm not an atheist. Atheist to me is the equivalency of a Christian, just in reverse or backwards. They have to have the same amount of faith in their belief that there isn't a
100%.
God as you have to in yours. And as soon as you have faith, now
100%.
you're talking a religion. That's where I believe atheism is a religion. I always used to look at Brad, this what drove him nuts, and I would just go, I just I don't care. Like, I'm just going to live my life. And he, wait, what about this? And so we would go into it from that point, but he was always like expecting me to bite back or something. But I would just ask questions, and bless his heart, he would always be right there with an answer, whether I wanted to hear it. And then we started bringing him into my life, as much more as a mentor in my personal life and stuff like that. And I will tell you, don't ask that man a question you didn't want the fucking answer to. He didn't give a shit if it hurt your feelings or not. He used to tell me all the time, he goes, "Do you want me to give you the answer I want to give you? Or do you want me to give you the answer that I think you want to hear?"
Who else in your life is going to do that for you though? Right?
You're very true. And
If
that's what
we
made
don't
him
do that
good.
if we don't do that for each other as friends and as men, there's nobody else in this world that's going to do that for you.
I completely agree.
They're going to just brush you under the rug and forget about you and not do anything to take care of you. So if you don't have this circle of men to take care of you and keep you honest, Nobody else is going to. And I honestly got to say something to you, man. Like, I got to give you amazing props because there's a lot of people that wouldn't accept or even talk to somebody as a mentor when you have different beliefs like that. Because there's a lot of stuff that can butt heads on that kind of stuff. So, like, that's a testament to how much you believed in the man that Bradley Reef was, even though you had
That's
branches in religion.
and that's a lot of it, right? I mean, since we're on the topic of mentors, just mentors in general, that's really what allows a mentor to be a mentor. Is it's almost kind of like the best version of a college professor without the politics.
Hmm.
Like there were so many times where I would ask, regardless if it was Brad or somebody else, what would you do in this moment? Doesn't matter what I'm going to do. What are you going to do? Let's work through what you're going to do. What I'm going to do is not my life, not my decision. And a really good mentor guides you to the understanding versus leading you to that
Right.
understanding. And that was the one thing that Brad I thought did very well. His guidance was just that. It was never a direct answer. Sometimes, if you ask him a Call of Duty question, it was. But if you went into like a guidance driven question, it was much more of I'm going to help lead you to the decision that you need to have, not my decision.
Yeah, it's
Would
more
you agree?
philosophical.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It was.
no, more
It was.
philosophical.
I'm gonna be a hands off, but I'm gonna kind of, you know, guide you a little bit here and there. So, but coming back to the question is, what were some of the things that you left in place? Some of the
Mhm.
major things you left in place, and some of the major things you changed.
Yeah, so because of the relationship that we had and the
By the way,
trust.
everybody, Facebook is live.
Nice. So because of the time, trust, and truth that we had built into our relationship and the faith that we had in each other, again, this just is just a testament to how our lives were twisted in fate that we had no control over and no understanding of. I had a ton of input in how this business was being run. A lot of the cigars that were named, a lot of the blends that were chosen, a lot of the brands that were already being brought in. I handled most of the for the last year and a half. Brad would not take very many conversations with reps. He's like, I'm too
Oh, I
busy.
do.
I got
Yeah.
stuff to do. I'm not sitting down with the reps. That's your job. So for the last year and a half, which kind of frustrated me, right? I'm like, why does he not want to talk to any of these guys? Why is he I can't make these decisions. I can't tell him yes or no on the money. I can just talk to him and smoke their cigars. You know what I mean? Like what am I supposed to do? So I just keep telling him, yeah, thanks for hanging out and letting me smoke a cigar. We'll call you. And that really frustrated me to the point where I actually came back and I was like, bro, what are you doing? Like, do you wanna keep these relationships with these guys or like what why do you not wanna talk to these people? And, now that I look back on that, I understand why that was happening. It was because I was gonna need to do it,
He was grooming without knowing.
right?
And plus, let's be honest with you too. Bradley's heart was much more into the house
Content,
blends and the house
and the content.
brands,
Yeah.
yeah, and stuff like that, and creating the content, and you know the he will. I used to tell her is like, dude, you're like a kid that just wants to play and never wants to do your homework. Yeah, because there was all the time, like, dude, I got these paperworks to do. Like, I got to put all this paper. I'm still at
I got
home. I'm
paid to do
doing,
the homework.
yeah, I'm doing the paperwork. I'm doing this paperwork. Oh, God, there's more paperwork I got to do. There's another thing I got to do. I just want to make videos and smoke cigars.
Yep.
He was totally the guy that worked to play. And so, have you kept up that environment that he maintained there? Because my guess is nobody within the family is associated at the shop anymore. And did they stay in Arizona?
Yeah, so, I can speak on that a little bit. His wife and his 2 kids, are still here. His one daughter, Savannah, is currently still in Tennessee. Her and her husband had a baby, and they moved out.
Hmm.
They moved to Tennessee and had their son, William Bradley.
Hmm.
And, but Brad's wife and his other 2 kids are still here in the Phoenix area. I still see him every once in a while. I still talk to the family. And the door has always been open and will always be open for his kids if they want any involvement in this business.
Sure. Sure.
I've talked to Savannah multiple times about that potential possibility. There's no way in the world that door would not stay open for them if they wanted that.
No,
But
absolutely.
as of right now, yeah, there is no other real family involvement at the moment. I can tell you right now, if I picked up the phone and called Carrie and said, "Hey, I need some help," if I needed help from Vida, they would give it to me immediately. So again, the family's still very, very much a part of this business, even though they're not involved.
Okay. So, what is your? By the way, we're gonna tell everybody what we're smoking, but I was just gonna kind of build into it to say that you're still keeping up with with the shop
Oh,
blends as
yeah, I
being the
haven't changed
major
much.
thing, and so let's just go ahead and dive right in. Now, the slide, the filters aren't working for me, so I'm just gonna. It's gonna look weird, but we're just gonna go with it. Oh no, we're not gonna go with it. So the filters didn't work right. So we're just going to stay here. But this is the What Are You Smoking Tonight segment sponsored by Dunbar Tobacco and Trust. And I was going to try to do this a little earlier, but I'm sorry, guys. This show doesn't have a regimented breakdown of when I talk about shit and do the segment. I just have fun with it and treat it like any other thing else and just like a conversation. So here we are. What are you smoking tonight segment? I will tell everybody what I'm smoking. But first, Justin, what are you smoking?
I'm smoking the same thing you're smoking, bro. Smoking a Liga Midnight, except I'm smoking a Gordo. I don't know what side. You look like you got a Toro.
Gordo. I got a
You got a
Gordo.
Gordo?
Yep.
Okay. I was gonna say the Toro is my least favorite size in that cigar. I always go with the bigger Robusto, which is a 5x54, or I go with the Gordo. The little bit more of the filler tobacco with this Oscuro Maduro is just
Well, now I know this was, I think you got the new one, and this was at the time the strongest cigar you guys made. But I knew you were working on one potentially.
um. I've got two blends right now that come and go. And the reason they come and go is they use Ometepe tobacco, so sometimes it's a little bit harder for me to get them rolled.
Sure.
Um, the one is the Bad Medicine, which is one of my newer cigars, and that thing is a double Lajero with Ometepe in the filler, and it's a Sumatran wrapper. And that thing will definitely hit the gut a little bit. And then the other one that's really strong was the if I can get the Madhouse Maduro
That's
back in
what it
stock.
was.
That's
What it was.
that's a double Lajero as well.
Yeah. And
So
then
that
go ahead.
so that blend so so a lot of our blends are very similar, and then we've got some changes to them. So like for example, the Brass Monkey and the Sanitarium line are the exact same, pretty much the exact same blend. The only difference is the Brass Monkey doesn't have any Lajero, and the Sanitarium line has Lajero. And then the Madhouse line has double Lajero. So
Okay.
they're all pretty much the same blend. It's just tweaked a little bit here and there to add a little bit of spice or a little bit of sweetness. So like the Brass Monkey is going to be lighter and sweeter. Sanitarium is going to be more in the middle. And then you got the Madhouse side of things, which is going to be the full bodied. I haven't had those for a while though.
Well, I know, obviously your house blends, right? When I think of a house blend shop, it's Zeal. And
Mm.
quite frankly, when I talk to most people that think of like, oh, what shop in your opinion has a ton of house blends, everyone's always answer is Zeal. And are you going to maintain the house blends as being the predominant category that you guys go? Or are you going to try to bring it? Because Brad was telling me it was significantly house blend because you guys have a lot of great house blends and they're significantly less expensive than some of the big boys. And he used to pride himself on taking somebody away from somebody by going, if you like that, here you get two for the same price, type deal. So are you gonna
Speaking of that,
yes.
this cigar used to be called the Liga 10 until somebody with the name DE Estates decided to send a cease and desist, and it became the Liga Midnight. It is a very close knockoff to the Privada number 9 and the T52. It's basically a mix of the two. If you take the T52 and the number 9 and you mix them together, you're gonna get this. It's not as sweet as the number 9. It's more woody, more earthy. But if you blindfold yourself, I've done it multiple times on the channel. You can find the videos. And I'll challenge anybody that wants to come sit in here and sit on a video blindfolded and smoke one of these versus a number 9. It's hard to tell the difference. You can, but it is very hard to tell the difference. And you're talking a $10 to $12 difference in sticks.
Oh, big time, big time. And that's why Zeal cut its teeth with house blends. Would you agree with that?
Well,
I
so you gotta know where where Brad came from with TNT and Cigar Warehouse. That's
correct.
what Tim and Bradley were doing at TNT and Cigar Warehouse. They were just slapping stickers and names on cigars that Dimitri had piled up in the back that he had bought from manufacturers that he never paid for. But a bunch of
That's why he went to jail.
No, he went to jail.
Well, he went to jail for a lot of other things, but probably would have still been caught.
But yeah, so I don't know what I'm doing with my hand. But yeah, so it that was a concept that kind of came with him from TNT, where he saw the ability for that and continued it. And when I say that I bought in very early on when I came into the business with Brad, was I was bought into that concept, right? Like, I'm not a super wealthy dude. I can't be spending freaking $20 a stick every time I want to smoke. So I understood the value of what he was doing. And I smoked a lot of cigars. I have a good palate. And when he stuck his cigars in my mouth, like literally as soon as I walked in the door, doink, try this, already cut and half lit, then you couldn't fight the value. So I will definitely continue to try to find amazing cigars that are within a value budget friendly, to continue to make them affordable for people to try amazing cigars with amazing tobaccos, and they don't have to pay the $15 to $20 for some of them. Now, are all of our cigars worth comparable to $15 and $20 cigars? No, but I'm telling you right now, they're worth every penny.
Well, here's the thing, though.
Dude, the Yeti tracker. Oh man, don't get me started on that one right now.
So here's the thing, and I used to have this discussion, and I have this discussion oftentimes with people. What actually sets a cigar price? Because we all know a $40 cigar isn't made for $15. I mean, come on. So like the whole point, and when I'd have this discussion with people is, listen, if my perceived value, if you unband a cigar and give it to me, and my perceived value is I'll give you $10 for it, and you tell me it's 20, I'm going to be a little upset. But when you put a really, really nice band on it, you put a good story behind it, you put some marketing behind it, you put a bunch of stickers and coasters and swag behind the stuff, now you elevate the feel of the brand, right? You didn't just smoke what's called a house stick. You smoked a house line.
Yes.
And that's really what Zeal focused on, and I love to see that you still are. Does that make sense? A house line versus a house cigar, because
we have both, right? Like, I have some, like, I'll be honest about stuff. I won't tell you who makes the stuff, but I'll be honest about it. There's some of our stuff that is made by manufacturers that will not make these cigars for other people. And they might make cigars for other people on some of the other ones. Good luck finding who makes them and the exact blend. If you could do that, I'll be impressed. And then there's some that do sell to other people. Like, there's some of my cigars that you could find in other shops all over the country. There's a couple big distributors that, unfortunately, I'm out of the nightcaps, so had to take that one out of stock. I actually just checked to make sure too, right after I saw that. But as far as pricing goes, though, man, like, that's, for me, it comes down to what's right and what's honest, right?
That's my point. Is that the whole point of creating the house line was to never be that price range. The whole point of the house line was to be able to allow people to find great, high quality cigars at a price point that's going to allow them to smoke many of them.
Yes.
And
I'm
that's the difference, in my opinion, between a house cigar and a house line. And I'm making the distinction because you guys carried so many, you guys have so many different cigars in your house line that when you look at a house brand, it's a Maduro, a Connecticut, a Habano. That's it. You get
yeah.
three. You know, you guys are creating lines within Zeal itself.
Yeah, and I don't at the moment I don't distribute any of them. So like you can't find my stuff at other cigar shops unless it's one of the ones that you know happens to be a distributor that sells to everybody. But yeah, you can't find my stuff in other cigar shops. There is a shop in Mississippi that I work with a little bit. Um and there could potentially be something with Micallef. I'm really good friends with Dan Thompson over there, and they're always open to potentially working on something. So there always could be something with them. Uh, my biggest project right now is trying to get Brad's cigar and my cigar up, though. That's probably been one of my main focuses right now.
Which is the Twisted Fate.
No, it's the
No,
Faithful Servant.
the Faithful Servant. Faithful Servant. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, bro. I can't wait to get my hands
And when are we expecting
on
that?
that. That's a good question. I'm kind of in conversation with them right now about a couple things. They've already started making them, but we're kind of trying to figure out some logistical details before because when you ask a factory to make cigars for you, they have to move they have to set aside rollers to make those cigars for you. So the factory has to make it has to be worthwhile for the factory to set them aside. So if
100%.
you don't order a big enough quantity of those cigars, it's not worth their while to waste their time. So with the quantity of cigars that I have to order, I'm very stingy with the way that I'm running the business. So I don't want to be out a lot of money up front for product that I'm not going to get for 6 months or 6 weeks
Sure.
or however long it takes them to get it to me.
Sure.
And when you work with those factories, in order for them to set those rollers aside, you got to pay at least half the money up front, or they're not
Correct.
going to start the work for you.
Correct.
So for me, I'm just working with them logistically to see if there's ways that we can, work some things around so that I don't necessarily have to front as much money up front right
Mhm.
away. And that's just me trying to work a
Mhm.
deal to be in a better position business wise. I could just say, hey, make them and buy them and give them the money and be done with it, right? But it might not be a smart business decision. So you got to try to work with these guys, and if you give them time and you find enough, a lot of times these guys will work with you, and the relationships that Brad built before and the relationships that I built with the guys that came in here during the time I've been here, they're usually willing to work with you.
So, are we going to get a limited edition box for that cigar?
So
A 50 run limited edition box with something commemorative, picture of the two of you on the inside, something fun like that where you could ask a ridiculous amount of money for, and
that's
do that.
that's a really good question, man. And I've actually had some really hard conversations with part-time Dave, who you guys have seen in videos. I've had some really hard conversations with so Brad used to have a group of guys. They still do. Every Friday night they come in and smoke from 5 to 7. And that was the men's group, man. That was the guys that you sat down, that you were held accountable for all the stuff that you did. And those were the guys. Um, I've really struggled with this. So my concept is they're gonna be 10-pack butcher paper. Okay. I had a really cool box design in mind. And here's what I decided and why I went away from the box. If I put a box and a band on it and I jack the price up, I'm not doing what Brad wanted done with that cigar. I'm not doing what what his purpose was behind Zeal Cigars, which is making those cigars affordable and available for every person that wants to be able to afford to smoke cigars. And this cigar is good enough that everybody needs it in their hand.
S-
So I decided to butcher paper it, and it's already got a unique band on it, which is tobacco, very similar to the Amazon Basin.
Mhm.
And there'll be a sticker of some sort on the butcher paper. And that's about all I've got at the moment. I haven't decided to do anything outside of that just yet. But once I get the cigars in hand, I'll be able to move a little bit differently with it.
See, I'm a buyer either way. Butcher paper or not, I don't mind.
Well, I mean, we're
Here's
talking. You
here's
want a $10 cigar? Or do you want a $15 cigar?
well, here's the thing. I'd buy a $20 cigar for that commemorative box. So for me I don't care in that sense. Like I that's why I would say like a
I
limited like
guess
50 like a 50 count limited run, small amount of boxes, and you could even have, boxes sold separately type deal.
I
Oh,
don't know why my camera just went off,
your
but
camera
it's
just
doing
went
something
off.
funky. But I'm still here, bro. I
All right.
promise.
No worries. So that's what I'm referring to is like
I
not doing it full time, not even making the box always available, but
Well, the problem
doing
with that
like
is they
because
won't
he
make
always
boxes for you
well,
unless you have you have to have a minimum quantity of boxes. You
oh,
know,
that's right. To do just 50 would be fucking
yeah,
expensive.
they won't do it. Yeah. It's one of those things, man. You got to make it worth the box factory and all those guys while to do it. So, here's the other
That
thing
makes
with
sense. That makes sense.
um here's the other thing with it too.
This is not a me problem, everybody. I
Oh, it's
guarantee
me. I
you.
did it.
I
I did
guarantee
it.
you. I promise you.
The EOS web app decided it wanted to just close on me. I don't know what the heck its problem is. Um, so here's the other thing with that kind of gets to me a little bit is I don't want to profit this business off of Brad's memory in that way. You know what I mean? Like I understand that there's people that don't care about that, and that's not how other people are looking at it. But the way that I'm looking at it is like I wouldn't feel right if I was overcharging and making money off of a cigar just because it had Brad's memory on it.
And I
That to
get
me
that.
just
And I
doesn't sit
get
right.
that. And I
It
and
it,
I
it
100% get that. 100%.
so
And that makes total
that's
sense.
my thing with that. And that's my personal problem, right? That's not anybody else's. That's just my personal my personal insecurities with that particular situation, but that's how I look at it. I can still charge a premium price for the cigar that is over most of my house brands without making it overly ridiculous, because again, if I have to buy a certain quantity of cigars, I also have to buy a certain quantity of boxes. Now I'm getting to the point where I'm just making this cigar just not realistically in the price range that fits in the vision of Bradley Reith making these cigars affordable for the everyday person.
Have you ever thought about doing a challenge coin for the commemorative limited run?
Yeah, there's been some conversations about some stuff like that. I actually have something in the works right now, and if I get the camera working, I will show you what the heck I'm working on. Uh, I've got a guy in the shop that comes in that does he's like a freak for 3D printing. So
We're
he's got some ideas that he's going to do for 3D printing on a couple cigar
Oh
holders that
my
are
gosh, a crooked beard cigar holder.
yeah, we're talking about some things, man. We're talking about some things.
This is why Brad always hated to come on because I just threw ideas at him. No, I'm totally kidding. He loves coming on. So, well, Richard says, one of the things you could do is also just donate, some of that profit to one of Brad's groups he supported.
That's a really good
Um,
call. We were actually talking about doing a potential fund for Brad's kids that the money went into. I don't want to say too much on that because that's a little bit
well,
closer to
that's
home. But
where a limited box run could be available. But you're 100% right. You'd have to find somebody to do a small 50, 100 boxes. And that could add quite a bit of money to each cigar, for
yeah, I
sure.
don't know. It's so strange, man.
You're on camera, by the way.
Yeah, I switched to another one. I have two cameras up here. So I was like, I'll switch to the other one and see if I can get the other one working in the meantime.
Now, real quick, for everybody that noticed over his left shoulder, for just in case, he does have a fire extinguisher over
Oh
in the
yeah, yeah,
hallway.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, if just in case if a cigar gets out of control.
Tell the fire marshal leave me alone. Tell Fire Marshal Bill. Tell Fire Marshal Bill he don't need to come show me nothing, dude. Keep him out of here.
So okay, so now moving on to how has all of this. Let me back up and change the question. During all of this time, you got married.
No, no, I've been married for 8 years,
Or
bro.
no, 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 you went somewhere. What was
I went
it?
to Greece.
You went to Greece. That's what it was. You had
Yeah, I
for
went to
some
Greece
reason
in
I thought that
August.
was for some reason I thought that was a honeymoon. Sorry, my
No,
mistake.
so
There was something that was going on that you were traveling for. So that's what it was. You went to Greece.
yeah. So
You're just so young.
I have I'm 35, bro.
Fuck, dude. I'm 40.
Uh so the yeah, so my stepdad was Greek. Actually he is Greek, actually, Nick. And
Same here.
so I went when I was 10 years old back in 2000. And dude, it was incredible. Totally different now than it was then. They were still on the drachma. That was before the EU switch.
And it's real
Um,
Greece food or real food,
yeah,
real
bro.
Greek food.
Yeah, some souvlaki, tiropera,
Ooh,
spanakopera.
tomatoes.
Yeah, bro.
I know I don't look it, but I'm about 25% Greek.
That's
My
Ganis.
mom's
What
my
I say?
mom's 50%. If my brother took his shirt off, he wears a wool coat. I didn't get that part of the Greek side. I got more of the Miller side in me than the
Well,
Tamara side.
you know what's funny though? How much hair did you have on your head when you were born?
Not much.
Really?
Yeah,
Most
yeah.
Greek, so most Greek babies when they're born, dude, have like a full head of hair, and it's like now I understand why all the Greek men are bald when they're older because all their hair is on their head when they're born.
Yeah, I don't remember. Like I had a big thick head of hair as a kid, but it kind of decided to hate me and
That
take off, so I
that
just decided to shave
25%
it.
Greek.
I just decided to shave it. But I'm not woolly mammoth hair coverage like some Greeks are or Mediterraneans are. So going through and buying the place, what has been a big change personally in your life for you as now a business owner? How has that affected your life, good, bad, or indifferent?
At the moment it's indifferent. And
Okay,
again, I think a lot of that just has to do with the position that I was being put in almost a year prior to this happening, to Brad passing.
sure.
There were it was it it was almost like I was being prepared. I swear. I can't you It's crazy. So, um the only thing that I would say that it's more of a mindset thing. Again, I'm a worker guy. I'm the guy that you give the football to and you say go score a touchdown. I'm the guy that you put in the outfield and you say don't let a ball drop. I'm the guy that you say I need all this stuff done today and I'll get it done. So for me to switch from that to now being business minded, and you got to think too, right? Brad wasn't business minded either, bro. We were two idiots.
No, we
We were
had
just
a
two idiots smoking
lot of
cigars, bro.
business. I had a lot of consulting conversations with him around certain things.
Right. Mom was the brains behind the handling, the business acumen and the
Mom,
funds
as in
and all
his
that stuff.
mom? His
Correct.
mom? Okay.
Correct. So I didn't even have any of those insights my entire time in the business. So I was doing all this for Zeal and working for Brad and working with him and doing all this, and I never had any insights to the numbers of the business, the financials of the business, any of that. And to be honest, I don't think Brad had a huge insight to it outside of whatever conversations he had with his mom. So so not only was I being mentored by Brad, but I wasn't getting the business side of things that I was going to need moving forward, which has probably been the hardest thing for me to kind of get through. I've never been
Yeah.
a business-minded person. I've never been a money-minded person. Grew up on a
Mindset's
horse
totally
farm. I
different.
don't care about that stuff, right?
Sure.
It's been different.
Mindset's totally different. So then, so as somebody that's learning all this, are you looking to bring somebody in that you can hand that off to, hand that side off to, maybe bring in a partner for that? Obviously, not to do necessarily the content with you, but to bring that business acumen into the business.
That's a really good question. I think the short answer to that is yes. There probably will be something happening in the near future, which will be announced eventually, probably. Um, but yeah, absolutely. It's not a huge thing. I have a buddy in the area that um Brad helped mentor to open a business, and he decided that he did not want to continue running the business at the moment, and we are kind of gonna take on the battle together, I guess you could say.
Absolutely,
Um,
do it.
so and to be honest, man, it's been a big help to me. It really has. Um, to have because I'm a floater kind of person energy, right? Like I'm not Brad. I'm not that big energy. Come through the door, boom, the lights come on, the freaking whole world just starts booming, speakers start blaring, like that's how he was. It was like a WWE entrance every
But
time
he
he
was
came in the
like that
door,
all the time.
all the time.
Like that wasn't like a camera's go,
No,
then he's
no,
on.
no,
Like that was,
no.
trust
So
me, play Call of Duty, that was him all the time.
so you know how you say people have like an infectious personality, they have an infectious smile. Brad had infectious.
Mhm.
He was just an infectious person and personality that attracted anybody and
He had a
everybody that was
yeah,
willing to look his way.
he had his own gravitational pull.
Right. So, it's just one of those things, man. There's not a lot of people that are like that. So,
So you're
you know,
looking to bring somebody in potentially, maybe down
yep,
the
yep, yep.
road it'll be announced, depending on how this goes, that'll help you take care of the other side of the business next to the buying and the content creation and keeping up the
Yep.
channel and everything else. Now, and that's
And
smart, right? You always hire to your negatives, to
mhm,
your shortfalls. You never hire to your benefits in the sense of
right.
like what you're better than somebody at. So like the hardest part of a business owner that I've ever when I do because I do business consulting too, that I tell a business owner, you want to replicate yourself. But you want
Mm,
to replicate yourself in a way that picks up your shortfalls.
mm,
And that's where having a partner comes into play because the partner can replicate your hard work and your ability to do the work, but then pick up the shortfalls of where you don't have, and then you take over where you're better and he takes over where he's better. And that's
yep,
the beauty of a great partner relationship, which is really what Brad and his mom had. She did the finances and Brad
yep,
did everything else. And when I
yep.
say the finance, everything, finance is a big fucking job, everybody. If you've never run a business and you don't even understand, finance is a big job.
Yeah. You know how you make $1 million in the cigar industry?
Start with two.
Start with two.
So, but yeah, I mean that absolutely makes plenty of sense why you would want to bring somebody in to assist you with that.
Well, for me, it's been motivation too. He's really driven. And he's
Mhm.
like, so when he calls me or he has, we have business conversations or, he wants to talk about, hey, what are you doing right now? And he's like, bro, yeah, let's go. We got to do this. Like I have an event on June 6th at a golf course out here called Orange Tree. It's a golf resort. And he got us into that golf course. And that's going to be a really great relationship that could lead to potentially a weekly event at one of their 5 courses. You know what I
That's
mean? So, like,
huge,
it's giant, bro, and we're talking
dude. That's huge.
potentially comp rounds that I could film and play with a manufacturer. So, like, there's big like, this has already happened, and he's not even really, embedded into the business yet. He just was somebody that was mentored also by Bradley and feels very deeply about wanting this business to succeed and this legacy to succeed the same way that I do. And so that motivation has started pulling me out of the mud a little bit that I've been in this last year dealing with all this,
Absolutely,
feeling
absolutely.
overwhelmed and feeling down and missing my boy, you know what I mean? So, uh, it's been a good thing, and
We
it could be a great thing.
You need your Cagney back. You
Yeah,
know,
bro.
you need your sidekick back, and some people are better with a sidekick than solo. You
Again,
know,
bro, I'm not a 30-minute stand-up comic, man. I'm an improv comic. I need
and
somebody else.
to bounce off of,
I
absolutely,
do.
dude, to feed off of that energy. You know,
I
I
can't
totally
I
get
can't
that.
be fake, man. I don't have enough of a, like I don't have enough of, like, a self-absorption or enough of, like, a care about my image to be fake, man. Like, I don't wanna put the time into it to be somebody else. And unfortunately, I don't put out a ton of content, and at the moment, it hasn't been the most upbeat content over the last year, arguably understandably, but I'm coming out of it,
100%.
and I'm starting to find my own groove and kinda how I wanna do things and the way that I wanna do videos, and they'll get better as I get better and as I, continually watch myself on these videos as I edit them and go, "You suck, dude. What are you doing? What the heck is this? How do you get
Don't
better?
watch
What the heck's
yourself.
going on?"
Don't watch
You have
yourself.
to. You gotta edit it. You gotta watch your dumb self. It's stupid. I hate it.
So I'll give you a tip. When I want to cut, I go like this. And I edit to the times I'm not doing this, and then I run it together. I don't watch it.
I just hate
Uh,
watching myself and
I
listening to
know.
myself.
Oh, I do too, man. I've had so many people like, dude, you got like you got a voice for radio, and I'm like, yeah, I got a face for it too. So,
Yeah, there's 2 of us.
well, I mean, look at you, dude. Like, so okay, Kevin didn't even think that that was you in the picture, dude. You're Mr. GQ, so he kept his hat off, Kevin, for
I
you.
specifically took the hat off just so I could be
Kept
like,
it off
"Ah, Kevin, this is me
just
without
yeah,
a hat, bro."
exactly. Just so you can understand that it was him, but he was all fancy in the picture. But it was either that or like a high school shot of you because you
Nah,
don't
so
have a lot of pictures.
that was like I told you, bro. I hate the freaking camera, dude.
I looked at
Uh,
some of your high school stuff. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna put that.
Pull up my track photo of me in my freaking onesie, dude. Don't you dare, you sick bastard. I got my Heidelberg one where I'm at nationals and I'm in my onesie and it's just my junk, dude. No, no, please don't. God. That would have been hilarious though.
Oh, I wouldn't have done that. So the business is taking over. You're assuming it. You're in full control of it at this point. Obviously, outside of keeping as much of his vision
Mhm.
as possible, there may be a point in time where his vision doesn't match your vision. So, how much of moving forward are you going to put you into it? Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, again, that as far as the videos go and as far as like cigars and stuff go, that stuff will come. As I slowly, continue to get out of the mud and figure out who I am as a business owner and who I am without Brad. Because that's a big thing, right? Like this
100%.
this this wasn't my business and it still isn't my business. It was Bradley's business, it was Bradley's channel. And before that, it was Tim and Bradley's channel. You know what I mean? So when number one, in order to move forward, I have to realize that. I have to realize and I have to understand that this isn't something that was mine and it's not going to be mine for a little bit of a time. Eventually, it'll become mine and we'll make it mine and we'll get there. And I got to figure that out. But part of that is realizing that I'm taking over something that was built by somebody else. And there's going to be a changing of the guards that happen. And there's going to be people that want to see that. And there's going to be people that don't. And there's going to be new people that jump on and there's going to be some people that left a long time ago that might come back, and I'm okay with that. And that's a really hard thing to be okay with.
It
Luckily, again,
is.
I'm not a narcissist. I don't have an ego. So I don't look at the YouTube views or the YouTube things and go, um, man, my life sucks. This is terrible. The views aren't going as good, so I don't really do that. And it's to my own detriment at some point because, I need to put out more content.
Why do you need to put out more content?
Well, because it's the more content you put out, the more people see you, right? And that's the thing. So you asked me something earlier about whether I was going to keep the Zeal house brands and things like that moving forward, and absolutely, that's going to be my main focus is on house brands. But this last year, I've had to rebuild the regular stock
Mhm.
because nobody's looking for my website organically for Zeal house brands,
Mm-mm.
right? It's just not happening. You're looking for other stuff, and you might happen to stumble across my website. You might happen to stumble across the YouTube video of me reviewing one of my cigars. You might get one of my cigars from one of your buddies, or you might happen to be in Phoenix and stop into my shop, right? But you're 90% of the people that are looking for cigars are not going to look for Zeal house brands unless they have a reason to look for Zeal house brands. Well,
Mhm.
I got to give them a reason. I got to be in their face. And that's what Bradley was really, really good at, and what Kevin from Cigar Props really, really good at. DJ from picked him. He's really good at it too. You know what I mean? Like, these guys stay in people's faces, and that's something that I got to kind of to take on a little bit.
So how you
How could I change the business differently and make it a little bit more mine? I can answer that a little bit more too.
yes, because that's really what I want to know is because the reality of it is brother, it is your business.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I
And
understand
and
that.
and like the vision, the feel obviously will always be there. But like at a certain point in time, it is yours and you have to kind of go your own route. So like where does your vision come into Zeal?
Yeah. So I actually haven't really shared this anywhere yet. So one of the things that me and Brad had a really big disagreement on about 2 years ago. Um, when we were having the conversation about me buying in, there was a really big conversation around what we were going to do with the funds that were going to be deposited into the business, right?
Yeah.
And retail has really picked up for us in the last 2 years, a lot.
It's good.
And um, for me, I was really looking at potentially moving somewhere else, or expanding, that kind of thing. I wanted to create an environment that didn't exist in cigar lounges.
Sure.
Everybody loves coming in and sitting down and talking and smoking to people. That's never going to go away. That is a cigar
No, it
lounge.
won't.
That's never going to go away.
100%.
But I want to create an environment that doesn't exist in cigar lounges. So my focus right now is I've been actually working. That's why I haven't been posting a lot of videos. I've been clearing out my warehouse because I'm trying to expand my lounge by about 20 feet. And
Amazing.
I'm going to install 1 to 2 golf simulators that you can actually smoke and play in.
Dude, that's awesome.
So that's my vision for how I'm going to turn something that's going on at Zeal Cigars into something that is now making it more mine, and more of a vision that I had for making this a place to making it something different to come to, right? Like,
Sure.
diversifying the portfolio, right? You can't go wrong doing that. So I would
No, you
love
can't.
to have there's multiple simulators here in the Phoenix Valley, but there's none that anybody can smoke in. And you got to think, 4 months out of the year, it's 115 outside. You're not playing golf in outdoors
Yeah, if you are, you're
unless you're
nuts.
young or a psychopath like me. You
You're
know what I mean? So,
nuts.
uh,
So when are
it's
you
gonna be
looking to have something like that up and running?
well. My first priority is those cigars for Brad,
Sure.
right? So that's going to take up the majority of my funds and focus for that at the moment. And I mean, ideally, in the next couple months, I would love to have the simulator in.
Okay.
I can't tell you that that's when it's going to happen, but
Well, we're gonna hold you to it. We're gonna hold you
it's
to it.
more
So give us a date.
it's more viable than you think, though. It's actually pretty easy to do. It's just a matter of clearing out the space and figuring out if I want to like keep it rustic like a batting cage, or make it or put a drop ceiling in and make it more presentable. Because the warehouse isn't the best looking place on the planet. But again, you ever been to a batting cage that was fancy?
People are looking to hit a golf ball.
Right. That's what I'm
Like
saying.
it's indoors.
Yeah,
So
Kevin's gator gun here.
yeah, right. He gave it to me too, dude. This thing you could weld
Yeah.
with it.
That's how he keeps the gators out of his front yard when he's out there smoking, dude.
Pretty much. They come right up to his. He lives right next to a canal. Um, let's see here. We have. Do you think you'll restock on the best? So we have a couple questions here. So we have Brent asking, and yes, we'll get to that one because you had mentioned you were going to show us something. If you got your camera up and running again. So we're
Oh,
going to come back to that. But
I'll be right back.
yep, go ahead. Yes, Richard. Guys, if you've never had a Zeal Cigar House cigar, you absolutely have to. The palette that picked it out was really, really good at copying name brands as closely as possible. And like, so if you've never had a Zeal cigar and you're watching this show, go to zealcigar.com and order your brains out. Ooh, nice little hat.
So it's this is a very rough draft of it, but it's just a cowboy hat that says Zeal Cigars on it. That's a cigar holder,
Very nice.
and there's only going to be 40 of them.
Okay, okay. So how do
And
you
that's
get those?
I'm not there yet. I'll put we'll put the newsletter out. We'll put the video out. We'll talk about it. But they're being finished right now. He's polishing them up, making them look pretty. And that's just the first one. I'm gonna do multiple versions of that. I want to do like a cactus. We might try to do, like you said, like a crooked beard one. I might do. We've had a few ideas. I don't want to give them all away. The cactus was my next idea though.
Well, I think that's fun. The crooked beard, I'm a buyer all day on. I mean, I'll be honest with you that.
It's just a hard. It's a funky design to get that one right. So otherwise, it ends up looking like a Saka Squatch. So so we gotta get that right.
You know what you could do instead of cigars or instead of boxes, you could do bobbleheads, like
Ooh,
25 or 50 limited run
that,
bobbleheads. And then you got to buy like a full bundle to get a bobble.
these ideas, bro.
Like I think that would be a lot of fun. I'm a buyer.
I don't need this with the beard, dude. I don't need it, man. I don't. Hold on. I don't know. I had a picture right here of him. I was about to hold it up and be like, picture this bobbleheading. I don't know where I put it. I must have moved it.
Well, my territory at work is changing to more West Coast because I live in Colorado. So hopefully I have some Arizona clients and I hope to come down and spend the day with you. I know a buddy of mine, Lefty, was in your shop the other week. I don't know if he
familiar.
Lefty, he's straight up Greek.
Oh,
he looks straight up Greek.
I wasn't here, bro.
He posted the picture.
Dude, I was having a day that like I had to step out of the office, man. I was like, I'm out. Kevin, you got the helm, bro. I'm gone. And he was like, okay. And I was like, see ya. And he was like, I guess I'll close. I just got the heck out of there, dude. So yeah, he showed up. That sucked, man. I would have loved to have met him. He might come back in though.
Well, definitely if you can make the connection because they do a lot of stuff with Sisters of the Leaf.
Okay.
Like they do, she's got a full charity organization, Sisters of the Leaf Global Movement.
Yeah, I'm trying to hook them up with Sisters and Sticks, which is a couple that I just did a video with here recently. I did it with his wife, Catherine. They're both doctors, and they started a cigar company here in Phoenix called Sisters and Sticks.
Yes, he was telling me about that.
Yeah, dude, they got a cinnamon one that's absolutely, oh my God, it's probably the best cinnamon cigar I've ever smoked. I hate saying that, but it's amazing. And then they have
a cinnamon cigar.
Yeah, they have a chocolate mint one that's very, very comparable and very competitive to like the Asylum Cool Brew that's popping right now.
Okay, so that leads me into my next question. That is, how is your palate different from Brad's? You seem like you are much more into the flavor, and if I remember right, he certainly was not.
So, funny, fun fact about that. His last cigar was a South Beach Mango.
See, that's just crazy for me because he always used to tell me I don't like flavored.
He would not smoke flavored. I mean, I'll smoke anything. I don't enjoy smoking flavored cigars. The Asylum Cool Brew I really like because I do get a hint. I do want something minty every once in a while, and I'm not a fan of the Java as much. So that Asylum Cool Brew was like, perfect. And then also the Sisters and Sticks now. It's a little bit of a different cocoa mint vibe, whereas the Asylum's a little bit more on the menthol-y. But actually our palates were very similar. Until about the last, like, probably year and a half, 2 years, he started smoking a lot more Habanos and a lot more lighter Connecticut's and things like that. But no, for the most part, dude, our palates were almost identical.
Really?
Yeah,
But it
yeah, they were
seems
almost identical.
but it seems like you're open to a little bit more of the flavored stuff or sweet tip stuff than he was.
Uh, I don't make as big of a spectacle about smoking them, I'll put
Okay,
it that way.
okay, 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 okay,
He
okay.
made a big deal every time he had to smoke something flavored.
So are you what are some of enough about the business. I want to focus now on JB.
Yes,
What
sir.
does JB do when he's not Zeal Cigars JB? When he
Oh,
I should
bro.
say, what does Justin do when he's not JB from Zeal
Dude, hey, you
Cigars?
hit me with the yo, you know how many people that come in this cigar shop don't know my first name? I don't use it on the videos, and that originally was intentional because, again, I didn't want people knowing me or seeing me on video, so I'm very usually pretty private. So, like, this has been a very different thing for me. And Brad brought somebody else out in me that I didn't know existed. I'm very introverted. I don't like being around people. I will go into the woods and be by myself for days on end. Please leave me alone. Don't call me. Give me my horse. Give me my backpack. I'm out of here, dude. But what I like to do is, man, I play softball. So that's one of the things I do with my wife on a regular basis. She played softball in college.
12
I
inch or 16?
huh?
I'm sorry, was it 8 inch or 12 inch?
I don't know what you're asking me, but I feel uncomfortable answering that question.
Well, you got the hard softball and you got the
16.
softball. 16, you right, what is it? 12 inch is the softer one that you don't
It's
need the glove for.
so we.
I can't remember. 12 inch, yeah, that's what it
I
was.
don't know,
That's
dude.
the
I'm like
diameter or the
I'm the guy that just plays. I don't know all the details, dude. I'm like a mercenary. You just tell me when to show up and I come, I hit balls and I catch balls, dude. That's it. Uh but so I ran track in college and my wife played softball. And that's actually how we met. We met our sophomore year in college. I used to sit in a tree and eat my lunch and watch the softball games. And finally she was like, "Who's the freaking creep in the tree, dude?" And that's how we met. But yeah, no joke, yeah. So, she played center field. So, softball is something that we do together. We play in a co-ed league on Monday nights, and then I play, he likes 12. And then, I'll leave that one alone. He, uh, and then I sub on Friday nights, because obviously I have to be here at the shop till 7. So, if they have later games, I'll sub on Friday nights with another team. I shoot, I
Yeah,
hike
yeah,
a
yeah,
lot,
yeah,
dude.
yeah,
I
yeah.
I hike a ton, dude. I'm I hike places that most people don't go because they're either afraid or they can't get there. So if you've ever heard of the Superstition Mountains, I spend a lot of time back there,
Okay.
and it's not for the faint of heart. That is a very dangerous place for a lot of reasons. A lot of people end up dead back there for a lot of different reasons.
Arizona is not really for the faint of heart. I mean,
Nah,
you
there was
wake up at 6 a.m. It's 200 degrees. By five by
109.
noon, it's 300 degrees. Your tires are melting to the ground. Your car doesn't even want to start. You touch your door and it melts. I mean, come on, like it's ridiculous. Like it's super hot. I couldn't even. I'm not really into like the hiking without a purpose. I always like. I just went and hiked 5 miles today. What'd you go see? Hey, I just went and hiked.
I
What?
didn't tell you there wasn't a purpose. I'm just not gonna tell you what that purpose is.
Well, I mean, you're married. We could assume what the hiking purposes your wife is for. But anyways, but like, I don't like. I like going to like a destination. Nowhere, like I don't know, hiking Arizona. I've seen enough westerns to be afraid of
It's,
that. It's
it's
hot.
different it's different, man. It's so crazy because, like, so my family is and I'm in the process of actually finishing a DNA test to find out the rest of this. Both of my great-grandmothers were Native. One was Shawnee, one was Cherokee.
Okay.
And, like, my great-grandfather referred to my great-grandmother as a squaw till the day she died. She had probably 5 strokes, I think, in her lifetime,
Holy
and he would call
shit.
my mom and be like, Melanie, the squaw had a stroke. Come see her." Because
Wow.
Yeah, she had like 5 strokes. She was bedridden for most of my remembering life, probably from like 5 on.
Wow.
Um, but the Native American culture and history that lies in these lands is just absolutely mind-boggling and astonishing. Um, it's it's crazy the history and the stuff that goes into like the Navajo res, the San Carlos Apaches, the Hopi, um, especially the Navajo and the Apache, man. There's just so much rooted here in lore around the mountains and around like the superstitions. For example, the Apaches believe that the thunder god lived in the superstitions because of how volatile the weather is. And they also believed that the hole to hell was there inside of the Superstition Mountains. So it's like and you've heard of the Indian
Why are
Geronimo?
you hiking there?
I
Why are
told you,
you
bro.
hiking there? I know that, but go do that somewhere where the whole of hell is not.
I'm gonna find it, bro. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna fill it in with cement.
Well, I have a feeling we might get a Indian named cigar from Justin would be my guess over the next couple of years. But while
It's
we're
been
on it,
it's actually been something that's been on my mind
I'm
very
sure it
heavy.
has. I can tell. I can tell. But Brent asks here, he loves a good pepper bomb. What house brand would you recommend?
Ooh. Unfortunately, at the moment, I don't really have anything in stock that pops a lot of pepper. The Liga Midnight would be probably the first one at the moment. When I get them back in stock, the Bad Medicine and the Madhouse,
Maduro.
Habano and Maduro both have some really nice spice to them, and some pepper. I do have another cigar I'm getting ready to bring in though. These guys reached out to me and came in and met with me. I actually met with them on a Sunday, and the cigar is called the Shadow Smokers Legion. And I'm telling you right now, that is one of the craziest red pepper smokes I've ever had in my life, and it was incredible.
So you're bringing them in
Oh,
as a
oh,
brand?
100%.
Okay, okay.
100%.
I'm gonna have to. When are you looking to bring those in?
Well, the guy that distributes for him is actually in Surprise, Arizona, so he's only about 30 minutes away. So hopefully very soon.
Okay, and
I want some for myself.
the name of that
It's
was
called
what?
the Shadow Smokers Legion.
Shadow Smokers
Yeah, it's
Legion.
by a gentleman named Eric at Midnight Cigars and another dude named the Soy Sauce Assassin.
It doesn't sound politically correct.
He's a gentleman from Taiwan, and he's freaking hilarious. He's freaking hilarious. These guys had me rolling in the lounge on a Sunday, dude. It was a great time.
So, are you gonna keep that boutique feel
Oh
at the
yeah.
shop? Okay, because I know that was one of the things you guys did try to really do a lot of was bringing since you had mentioned what I would consider to be a boutique cigar brand just now, figure we talk about that. Like,
There's
so
only 500 made. 500
yes.
boxes.
So then, how are you keeping that boutique world alive? Are you specifically going for the boutique cigars, or are you just more apt to bring them in when they show up?
It's getting hot back here. I turned off the AC. I made a mistake.
It's Arizona. You need AC in the
It's loud
December.
though. But so that's a good question. That's one of the beauties about being an influencer in the cigar industry, right? Like I know I put quotations. I know I'm an influencer. I
I
don't look at
hate that
myself that
name.
way.
I get it.
I know,
Yeah, I get it.
but being an influencer in the industry, people just reach out to you. People just show
Mhm.
up at the shop randomly and they walk in with cigars and they're like, "Hey, I was in the area, saw you at a cigar shop, wanted to say what's up." You get to smoke and meet so many unique people in this industry that it's almost an unlimited pool to pull from. I could go out into the world and find any cigar that I want for a profile that I don't have in my humidor right now, and I could find it from somebody that's not a major brand. So here's another thing.
Mhm.
I'm a little bit more hard on people than Brad was when it comes to business. Brad was very forgiving. Brad was very graceful when it came to dealing with people. I'm not. And
Explain.
yeah, so like I haven't seen a General Cigars rep in 2 years. And to be honest, I might never give that dude money if I see him again. And that sucks, right? That sucks for my customers because some of their products are some of the most looked for products in the world.
What
But I
does
haven't
that
seen him
mean
in
to
2
you as a
years.
retailer to not see somebody for 2 years?
That's a good question. Some of that's on me too, right? Like I can't put all the blame
No,
on
no,
them.
no,
I
no,
know how
no,
to
no,
reach out
no,
to
no.
those
That's
people.
that's not on you. Your
I
job is to
I get that.
buy, not to sell. It's
I get
all
that.
on the company. Caterpillar's not going after me for
What do you mean? You look
they're
like a heavy machine operator.
I do. I do. I know I'm built. I look like I'm built for manual labor, but trust me, I'm not. These are keyboard hands. Um, but the reality is, like, it's not your job to go after General. It's their job to go after you. You're making them money.
Well, you got to look at it this way, right? Fuente, I just had oh shoot, I just called him out. Anyway, I had a really bad experience with a new rep that came into the shop, and it was one of the most disrespectful situations I've ever been in as a person in this industry. Um, were some of his points valid? Sure, sure. But sit down and have a conversation with me before you start making those points or before you make assumptions about those points. You don't know anything about me. You don't know anything about this business. You just set foot in my cigar shop for the first time.
Yeah.
And, we had some cigars made for us from them, and those were the Yeti trackers. And to be really, really
Wow,
honest,
you just disclosed. I think that's the first time that's ever been.
yeah,
Literally, any shop has ever been. Do you know how long
look,
I've been asking Brad what shit's made?
Brad kept that stuff really close to the
I know
heart,
he
but
fucking
and
did.
I will, and there's some I will never tell. There's a few that I will never tell the factory that those are made at.
You
And
shouldn't. You shouldn't.
but I'm not afraid to say this one because there's people that really loved that cigar, and I think it's important for them to understand why they may never see it again. Because here's the thing. If you look at the history of a company like JC Newman and Fuente, you understand that they started and were given a shot by a small shop in Chicago. So for them to start looking at only taking care of their big accounts and only making people like us phone calls now, like Drew Estates does, it kind of makes you feel really undervalued in a market where why wouldn't they want to be in your shop? Why wouldn't they want to be in a shop that's online? Why wouldn't they want to be in a shop that has YouTube following? Why wouldn't they want to be in those places? Instead, they don't need that. They feel they don't need those, and they forget that it was a small shop in Chicago that made their business start.
So, could I play just devil's advocate with a question here?
Please,
Could it be their perception is that
absolutely.
you guys were the recipe killer? You guys were the shop that specifically went for as close as humanly possible and put it in your line. And I could, and because Brad made it very clear that if he could, he would have been a house brand shop to as much as he wanted. So I mean, maybe it's their
That's a good
needing new
question.
training.
That's a good question, but no, this is a guy that came from Miami who's been with the company for 15 to 20 years and doesn't know anything about our business. So the short answer is no. No, I don't
Okay.
think so.
Okay.
And to be
Okay.
honest, the cigars that they were making for us weren't competitive with their cigars. And I don't make any cigars that are competitive with theirs, except for maybe my Whiskey Sunset because it's got a Cameroon wrapper on it.
Yeah.
But those are the kind of things that as a cigar reviewer and as an influencer and somebody that is in the people's face and has a shop, it's not a great thing for me to talk about publicly, really. But at the same time, sometimes it is, right? Like, because who else is going to say that stuff?
Let's be honest.
Who else is gonna call these people out and say, "Are you who else in the industry are you treating like this?" How many? I had 4 people in my lounge that heard that conversation, and when that guy left, said, "I'm never smoking a Fuente again." 4 people.
Yeah, it's a
So
shame.
So you know what I mean? So when I say that, like, I'm gonna work with the people that want to work with me. For example, I met the guy that used to make Michael Jordan's cigar from Cuba. He was a roller in Cuba for 20 years. He's got his own brand coming out of Nicaragua right now. I'm telling you right now, it's amazing and it tastes so Cuban, even the Maduro. I'm super excited about that one too. So like that's the thing about being in this industry is there's so many people out there and there's so many different people that walk through your door, like these Shadow Legion guys bringing me one of the most spicy red pepper, most enjoyable freaking full-bodied cigars that made me go to the bathroom that I haven't had in so long. And I'm like, okay, how do I get these in?
And that's, you know, that's one of the things that, so I always equate boutique brands as there's just their heart's more in it. Like it's
Well,
kind of like they a lot of boutique brands
it
don't
has to be.
have the ability to just shove off a shop.
It has to be in their heart, right? Because you think about it. If they're think about like John from Sagrado, for example, right? How hard did John work these first 2 years to get his cigar brand in people's faces? How hard did he work every single day? The traveling he made, the time he spent coming here to see us. He put a lot of time and effort into this. If you're not passionate about this, why are you doing it? And
Yeah.
when you're starting a cigar brand, it ain't for the money.
Yeah, no, it's certainly not for the money. Oftentimes it's a loss of money for 3 to 5 years.
Right. Admit unless your brand just goes bananas, and at that point, you had some sort of marketing thing that took off for you or an influencer that took it off for you, right? So, it's just one of those things.
About the only people that I could think of that would remotely be like that would be like Black Label or Black Works. James Brown just fucking skyrocketed. Um, so as you guys are as
Oh,
you're
you
go
know
ahead.
LeBron was a part of that business, right?
James?
I'm pretty sure I read something the other day that said that he was
Oh,
a silent investor in Blackworks.
that's
I could be
dis
wrong. I could be
that's
wrong.
I love James Brown, and I hope that's not true. But
It could
either
I
if it
could be
is
wrong.
true, I don't hold it against you. I think it's one of the best upcoming brands. So the other question I have to you is your PCA
Mm.
change gonna happen? Because I know that really wasn't a thing for Zeal to go, but are you gonna try to establish more of those outside relationships?
So, yes, that would be the only reason for me to go to PCA. For people that aren't out there, for us that don't really understand why us retailers really go to PCA, the biggest reason is a lot of guys will take out a loan for the year, and that's where they buy 90% of their product for the year,
Tons,
right?
tons.
Because of the deals and because of the some of the stuff's limited and you can only get certain things this way. So like there's guys that spend a lot of money at the shows, and that might be the biggest amount that they spend all year other than refilling stuff that sold out. I'm not going to do that. Number one, they don't make my house brands. Now, number two, I don't want to buy that much in a quantity because I want to be lucid. I want to be able to move and I want to be able to bring more of this house brand in. I want to be able to buy a new house brand if I have something unique that comes in and I'm like, dude, I got to move this. So I want to be able to be a little bit more fluid. I don't want to be locked into so much one of a product. So I wouldn't go to PCA for the purchasing of things. I would go to PCA for the networking because
Sure.
I've been in this industry almost 5 years now, which is kind of crazy to think about because it's been pretty much contained inside these four walls, man. So, for me to really get out and start chopping it up with more people in the industry that don't organically come in here or I meet through an online conversation in some way, yes, I have to figure a way to probably get there next year. Or when it comes back to Vegas, that'll be easy for me. So I can get to Vegas pretty easy.
Yeah, you can just drive up there.
Yeah, it's a four
Um,
hour drive.
a really good boutique brand. I don't know if you've heard of, but they've been on the show. Uh, Lure Cigars.
I
Really,
have heard
really
of them.
good.
I haven't had a chance to smoke anything from them yet, but I have
Really
heard and I've
good.
seen them.
And honestly fits the profile of the shop from all the different, it's not pepper bombs, it's all real nice easy smoke, really really good blends.
You know who
um
makes them, Ryan?
yeah, Lou Cross. Hey, Richard, reach out to JB and give him Lou's information. It'd be a good one for you guys to at least talk about because he's a really good brand. They've got some really good products. He's got a complete line, and he's bringing out new stuff.
Okay.
So, but I love the fact that you guys focus on the smaller shops or smaller brands. I love it. Like I would love for you guys to get a apostate, but I've had that discussion
I
with
have a
Brad,
prostate.
and that would never happen. Yes, that's what Brad told me too.
Yeah, we both had prostates. I don't know what you're talking about.
Apostate cigars.
So I've
I had talked to Brad. He's like, I don't know. I could bring them
I've so it's
in.
gonna kill the camera again. Because this thing's stupid. But I have had their cigars before. And the one that I had was very good. I don't remember much about their brand or their price points or anything like that. Normally, what got Brad was cost comparison. What's the value? How much is the cigar and what's the value I'm getting? And then you got to take into consideration we have house brands, right? So is the cigar that you're selling me able to be sold or compared to something that I'm already selling for half the price that you're bringing it into my shop for?
And right, and that's really kind of
It's the battle, bro.
that's kind of your biggest problem is you guys are, you know, you guys have so many lines that are super equivalent to so many cigars out there on the market today. And so that's definitely a concern for you because
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
it's got to be hard to bring in a $12 stick when you have a $6 or $8 one that's really equivalent.
Yeah. So, for example, I'll give you. Let me see if I can get this to fix again.
We
There
got
we
it.
go. Dude, it pays to work in tech for 10 years like I did. You can just figure stupid shit out. Uh, what'd you ask me again? I got distracted coming back to you.
As far as bringing in, it's hard to bring in a brand, regardless of boutique or legacy, when you have a cigar that's so similar to it. And now you're looking at a $12 to $15 price point versus a $6 to $8 house cigar.
Yeah, it can make stupid thing. It can make relationships really interesting. But see, that's where you have the opportunity to do things in this industry that a lot of other people don't. And that's, hey, let's do something where we work together. I'll carry your brand. We'll do something with your brand, and then you guys make something for us. So it becomes mutually beneficial. So as long as we're doing stuff that I don't know what this camera is doing. As long as we're doing stuff that's mutually beneficial to us and the brand, there's usually not an issue.
So, what is your take then on bringing in legacies versus bringing in boutiques? What I mean by that is you had a bad experience with JC Newman. Are you talking about potentially dropping JC Newman and now you've got new lineup? Now you've got, more room for other boutiques?
That's a good question. I haven't decided on that one yet. That's one
Because
that I
that's a
have to.
big decision to drop a company like that.
That's the short answer is I don't want to.
No, that's like a bread
Yeah.
and butter.
Well, and here's the thing, right? Like we went back to I may have to run to go to the bathroom a second. I'm doing the PP dance.
You're fine.
Um
You could go. No issues.
but here's the problem. They're one of the most searched for brands in the country in the world.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it's a tough decision. It puts you between a rock and a hard place.
Right. Do you want people to find your website? You got to carry the brands people are looking for.
Hmm.
Now, that's something that I have to do, and I just haven't had the time to really do it yet, which is reach out to my rep that I did have a good relationship with from them who got pulled away from this region and have a conversation with him. And to be honest with you, we'll probably work it out. And I got no problem working it out with them because of who they are, right? Like that you're talking. If it was any other company, I wouldn't bat an eye. I would have just said bye. But because of who they are, they're going to get a second chance and another opportunity to come to the table with me because they deserve that. And my customers deserve the opportunity to have those cigars available to them as well. So, I can choose to be bitter about it and turn a cheek, or I can do what Bradley would do and give some grace and say, let's work this out. So
And
eventually I will
that's
reach
big of
out.
you. That's big of you for sure.
Yeah.
I tell you what, you go use the washroom real quick, and we'll bring you back. I got a good question for you when you come back. So, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in, and I really appreciate all the love and support that all you guys get, and or that all you guys give me. And I still I say this all the time. I still can't believe that this show's even a thing after this long, and that you guys enjoy watching it, and we have so much support from the community that really truly does mean a lot. And you know, as we're kind of going through this show, please, I strongly suggest, or not suggest, but I would strongly ask for you guys to jump on zealcigars.com and support them, support JB in his new ownership opportunity that he has with inside of Zeal. And he's trying to keep everything alive in the memory of Brad Open for years to come. So if you have ever had any of Zeal cigars, jump over to zealcigar.com. Excuse me, and do yourself a favor and order a shit ton. I mean, they're absolutely fantastic. They're a staple in my humidor. They have been for a very long time, and they will continue to be for years to come. So I know most people that have ever had their stuff really, really like it. Um, I will say I've had very little construction issues, if any real construction issues with their stuff. That's all been done really well, and just really, really grateful that JB's keeping this whole thing alive. So I cut my cigar a little on the short side. It's my fault. It's user error. Um, so JB, where I want to ask you a crossroads question. When your
What's up?
vision across yeah, right, when your vision down the road changes from Brad's, how are you going to handle that?
You know what's funny about that, Ryan? I think my vision was already different than Brad's, right? In some aspects. One of those things is in the way that I wanted to, like I said, if I had bought into the business when I wanted to originally, what I wanted to do with my investment into the business was very different than what Brad wanted to do with his investment into the business. Um, here's another reason why boutiques are so important, right? If I go on Cigar Bid and I see a brand on Cigar Bid, 90% of the time I'm probably not going to carry them.
No, that yeah, that undercuts you.
I'm not going to carry them for a lot of reasons. Number one, they're not giving me the same prices they're giving Cigar Bid because that's General Cigar, that's STG. The other thing about that is I'm never going to be able to compete with those prices on some of that stuff. So it's not in my best interest to do that. So I'm going to lean more towards boutique stuff and stuff that people are looking for that's unique and different or new. And that's what I want to try to do. So you're going to see a lot of brands you've never seen before, a lot of new cigars on my channel. Like when I do the review on that smoker, the Shadow Smokers Legion.
Mm-hmm.
You stupid thing.
It's not going to zoom. It's not going to focus. It's okay. There we go. There we go. There we go.
Like this thing is incredible. And then I heard you talking about before we got on the show, you were talking about something with La Aurora. Bro, this new family creed that they just
Dude,
launched.
that's really good.
Bro, I'm telling you right now, I'll never smoke another Padron.
La Aurora's changed their
I'll
tune the
never
last
smoke
couple of
another
years.
Padron after touching this cigar.
I tell everybody, give them another shot. They've changed their tune. They brought in a significantly younger staff, a significantly younger vision, and they've done a lot of good. They're still trying to get out from under the old distribution side, but
Well, you got to think about a lot of these guys, right? Like Luciano Cigars. In my personal opinion, he makes some of the best cigars on the planet. But a lot of people don't know about Luciano because they were making cigars for everybody else, like Crown Heads.
correct.
Right? So, same thing with La Aurora. La Aurora makes so many other people's cigars. They make Gabby Caffey cigars now. They make Sinistro cigars. They make a lot of cigars for everybody else. And a lot of these companies are realizing, like, why aren't we making our own cigars better?
That's what Placencia was doing until they started making their own.
Right. So, these companies are realizing like we have good stuff here that we can make more money on other than just making stuff for somebody else. And when they do that and they put time into it, like La Aurora's doing with some of their stuff, um, it comes out amazing.
It
And
does.
that cigar is incredible. Those are available, by the way. I have those already. It's incredible. I can't wait to do a review on that cigar.
Yeah.
Actually my part-time Dave, I'm actually going to try to film it tomorrow. He went and actually bought Padrones to do a blind test with. So you're going to see a blindfolded taste test with that cigar up against a Padrone, stick to stick.
Okay. Okay. That's ballsy there. So where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Goodness gracious. Bro, I don't have a clue, man. I got to figure out what it looks like 6 months from now. You know what I mean? Look, right now, somebody said something the other day that really resonated with me, and it's because I'm an overthinker. My brain does not stop. I don't sleep. My brain just doesn't stop. So for me, I just have to look down and just look at that next step. Not at all the bushes, not at all the bushwhacking, not at the cliff that's coming up, not at the sunset that looks pretty and distracts me for a minute, not at the bear that's hiding in the tree that wants to jump down on me. You know what I mean? I have to just look at the next step.
So you're take what's in front of you.
That one step, that's all I can see. The rest of it, if I try to look too far into it, it just clouds the mind and it makes you overthink into almost a dangerous place of things that try to make you doubt your plan or doubt your ideas or doubt yourself, right? So I just take that first step and I move, and I take that next step and I move. And I'm a sprinter, bro. So for me to slow down and just take one step is not easy to do. So it's been
It's
a challenge.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
I just
So
want to hit the blocks and go, dude, and hit the finish line. Not do this, do this, do this, jump a hurdle, swing around, ride a pole,
what's the
and then hit
finish
the
line for you?
You know, that's a really crazy question, man, because with this business and with this industry and the way that it's designed, there could maybe never be an end, right? Like I could sit here and do this until I'm 80 years old, I could see until people are tired of watching me, right? I don't know. Um, there's only a few things that would take me away from this as a full-time business owner. I would still be present and I would still be on the videos and things like that, but there's only one thing that I would absolutely take full-time over this. Um, and that would be coaching.
Okay.
Very specifically, like if I got to coach, like I have a couple friends that used to play in the NBA and coach out here in Phoenix locally. Um, and I'm working on potentially maybe getting into maybe coaching one of the girls teams out here or a couple other teams potentially. So if I ever was to get offered like a college position or something like that or a really good high school out here, um it would be hard for me to not take that because regardless of how good I am at doing this, I'm really really good at coaching people.
Well, you also have to do your passions.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
you
And
know,
there's nothing more rewarding than like, oh man, for me, there's two super rewarding things in my life outside of my family, right? And one of them is a customer comes back and goes, bro, what was this cigar you gave me? Here's the band and wrapper. It was freaking amazing. I need more of those. And then you're like, oh, you like that one? Well, how about this one too? And then then he comes back the next time and he's like, I need this and this. You know what I mean? Like those are some of the best moments. And then on top of that, the other moments are like when you really make a difference or you can really be there for somebody. More than a business, this was Brad's pulpit, right? That we change lives in this building every single day.
he used it
Every
as an
single day.
outreach.
Every single day we change a life in some way or they change ours, right? So, that's a very special thing and that's one of the reasons I wanted this legacy to continue more than anything.
So here in closing, some lightning round questions for you. What is your favorite cut of cigar?
V V cut all day, dude.
V cut.
Yep.
What is your favorite pairing?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm gonna go super left. Okay, I'm gonna go two on you. So me and Kevin just did a video that I put up recently. It's the most recent video where we took different waters and see how they would change your palate and how it would change the flavor of the cigar that you're smoking.
Different waters,
And
explain.
so one water was just regular purified water from like Fry's Kroger. The other one was like what's that real popular one right now? That everybody's drinking.
Fiji or
Death, liquid death.
Propel, low liquid death. Yeah,
It
the
was a liquid
sparkling
death
water. The
sparkling
sparkling.
water. And then it was like a mineral water, a local spring water from Sedona called Sedona water, which actually comes from a spring called Harding Spring. You can actually go fill your water bottles up there pretty much year round. And then there was a couple other ones. There was like a mountain spring water called Rain that came out of Georgia. And I kid you not, I tried that Rain with a King's Comeback, and I tasted stuff in that cigar I've never tasted before. Never tasted before. It blew my. And here's the other thing I found out. So I drink a lot of this Sedona water because it's local, and it actually has a really good natural mineral composition for water, like really good mineral composition for water. But the high calcium and magnesium in the water actually dry my palate out and make cigars taste a little bit more dirty and woody. So I can't smoke any more cigars on reviews with that water because it's actually tainting my palate.
It's funny how pairings really make a difference.
Yeah. But my favorite pairing though is just a cup of coffee, man. A good cup of dark, Ethiopian, Colombian, Costa Rican. Oh no, bro! Don't you insult
just
me
black.
like that.
Yeah, I'm the same way, dude. Just straight black.
So when I was growing up, I spent a lot of time with my dad's mom and dad, and my grandfather was a pastor, and still is. And he would always say, "You can have a cup of coffee with Papaw, but it's got to be black. Otherwise, you got to go sit in the kitchen with your grandma."
That's good. I agree with that. I mean, I'm the guy that grinds up 10 cups for an 8-cup pot just for the extra strength. I mean, I want it like almost jelly. So you could like chew it. That's a strength level I enjoy. I'm the
Bro, you
same
should be
way.
drinking that Aneliakos Cafe, dude. That Greek coffee, bro, with the grounds in the bottom. If you don't stir that ish, bro, it's just all caked at the bottom like this thick.
Dude, I will tell you the strongest coffee I've ever had in my life was Jamaican coffee, and it will turn you silly.
Is it similar to like Cuban? Because Cuban coffee's like that too.
No, Cuban coffee's real sweet, a lot of sugar. I'm talking these are the beans.
Okay.
My parents brought back some years and years ago, and I later found some years after that. My God, dude! I mean, it'll turn your nose up. It's really good.
Okay.
I forgot what it was called, but it was a light roast because light roast is the most pungent or highest caffeine, and this was strong for. I'm sorry, it was a medium. This was strong for a medium roast because I don't get into the French roast very much. French roast is a little overcooked, a little overbaked, so I usually go with the medium to light roast because I like the higher caffeine.
Yeah, there's a local company out here called Press, and they make amazing coffees. Amazing coffees. So that's probably who I get a lot of my stuff from. And then my part-time guy Kevin, his sister actually roasts her own coffee. So every once in a while we'll have a bag of her coffee in here. I love and her coffee's very good, very light, very mild, low acidity. You could drink multiple cups, dude. Like it's dangerous.
So, what's your favorite rapper? You can give me musician and cigar rapper, or just cigar rapper. Up to you.
My favorite rep personally?
Rapper.
Oh, rapper.
So your favorite, your favorite cigar rapper, musician,
like my
both,
favorite cigar rep, dude.
No. I'm not gonna throw you. I'm not gonna throw you into the spotlight.
I mean, I'll answer it, but they might not like it.
That's the next question. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm a broadleaf hound, dude. I love anything broadleaf, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Mexican, San Andreas, or I even throw Brazilian in there a little bit. I love Brazilian tobacco. So, and I'm a sucker for stuff that's like ultra fermented. So like the mortal coil, right? They took that extra
Yep.
fermentation process and put it in the Yugwa pod. Same thing with the Yugwa from JC Newman. The Mad Monkey from Pravada Cigar Club. Oh my God. You stick that thing up to your nose and you're just like, is this thing gonna taste like a prune juice? Like, what the heck? Just crazy fermentation. Like if it smells like it might have came out of a manure pile that's been sitting at my dad's farm for the last 5 years, it's probably gonna be really freaking good.
Yeah, I've tried to explain that to people. I'm like, listen, if it smells like a barnyard, it's a good
Yeah.
fucking cigar.
Yeah.
Like that's a good cigar. It,
We should call one the cow pie.
dude, do it.
Just a real stanky one.
Yeah, come out with a pepper bomb cow pie.
The cow
So
pepper.
what is what's a wrapper or a tobacco that you don't have that you don't currently have in your portfolio that you'd love to bring in?
Actually, I'd say 90% of our cigars right now are Nicaraguan. I would love to get. There's a factory that we used to work with that made our Crooked Beard and our and the Devil Doc, and I actually might be able to get those blends back. And I'm working on that right now too. Excuse me. But that was a Brazilian Maduro out of Honduras. I don't have any Honduran right now. We had a line of cigars that was really good called the Doc series. It was the Daisy, the Two Guns, the Huckleberry, and I think the other one was called the Two Guns, maybe.
I remember the Huckleberry.
Yeah, and dude, that Connecticut was one of the best Connecticut's on the planet. But here's the problem: that factory out of Honduras was not being honest with us and was sending us cigars that were very, very mixed filled, very short filled, rather. And they weren't telling us about that, and the price didn't get adjusted based on long and short filler, right? So we actually had a customer call us and go, "Hey guys, love your cigars. What the heck is this?" And he cut it open and sent us a picture of it. And that was one of the most embarrassing things I've ever had to go through personally within the business with a customer, is to have them cut open our cigars and send us a picture of how crappily mixed filled and shitty they looked inside.
Well, so that leads into kind of a good thing to kind of touch on here is that really plays into who your partners are, who knowing
You gotta trust them.
your manufacturers. 100%. 100%.
So if you're a if you have a cigar brand and you're not at the factory 3 months out of the year, you're failing your brand. You just are. You're failing your brand. You need to be at the factory 3 months a year, not only for quality control, but just so that you continue to better understand the ins and outs of the business. And I'm saying this as somebody that's never been to a factory and has cigars made for me. The difference with me is I don't have one brand that I'm trying to sell to everybody. And we've built these relationships over the last 10 years. Brad built these relationships for 5 years before Zeal, and then another 5 years with Zeal. So, these are relationships that have been built for a really, really long time. And we're very lucky as far as Zeal Cigars is concerned to have those relationships. Because it does help with that stuff in those situations a little bit better to have a really good relationship with those people.
No, absolutely. It makes all the difference. So, did you get anybody that? Well, let me continue on with the lightning round questions because we're coming up to the end here, and I don't want to take up your entire night. What is a cigar that you are absolutely loving on right now that's not a house blend? And then what is a cigar you're loving right now that is an available house blend?
There's been a couple cigars that have recently been coming through here that have been absolutely just like, man, I've been smoking a lot of them. Dude, this new La Glorioso by La Gloria Cubana.
Yep.
Made by Ernesto Perez with La
Yep.
Gloria. Amazing cigar. $9. Come on. Made by Ernesto. Let's go. Amazing cigar. This La Aurora, like this has been one of the best cigars I've smoked this year so far. Um, dude, the Pravada blue cheese has been a big mover. I like a lot of Cusada stuff, dude. I've been a big fan of Casamagna Cusada lately. Their
Mm-hmm.
40th anniversary Mexican San Andreas. Oh my god! And I just had the
Gusada's a good brand.
bro, so good. Well, and so the Cusada stuff is really good, and then the Casamagna stuff is made in collaboration with Plasencia. So those of you that are Plasencia fans, try the Casamagna line because you're going to get a little bit of Plasencia's tobacco from that. And the
What about Matilda?
I have not had anything from them yet.
Exceptional.
Yeah, I haven't had
Exceptional.
anything from them yet.
You know, his dad blended the Monte Cristo White,
Okay,
and it's absolutely
I'm not a fan of
exceptional.
that cigar, but I respect
Well,
it.
like it's a little on the milder side, but that's what he's really known for. But he is a huge blender, or he was a huge blender for Altadis and
Okay,
Monte Cristo and stuff. And like he did, Matilda's a fantastic cigar.
okay, I'll have to check them out.
Absolutely, really, really good. The Cusada is really good as well. What about your house? Where are you at these days with your house blends? What are you loving
Um,
on?
I haven't really been moving a lot on those right now because I've been focusing on trying to, um, fill some more of the boutique stuff in the front humidor, and then also I have two humidors, so I call it the front and the back. The back is like all the Zeal
Sure.
stuff. So I was trying to kind of fill the stuff in the front humidor, and I'm working on some stuff. I have 5 cigars in the works right now. So the 2 you already know about, which is the Brad's cigar, the
Hmm.
faithful servant, and then my cigar, which is going to be a box pressed Maduro version of his, which is a Sumatra. Mine's going to be called the Good Soldier. So those are the 2 cigars that are in the works right now, and then I've got 3 more that are actually I can order anytime I want right now. They're pretty much waiting for me. Um, One's a box press Mexican San Andreas. One's a Habano that is absolutely just, oh my god, to die for. And then there's a new Connecticut that is like if you took the spice cream and just added some complexity to it and a little bit more premium tobacco into the fillers. Oh my gosh. So those 3 are you're gonna see 3 new cigars come out. I think I'm gonna call the Habano. I'm kind of thinking of doing something interesting with the Habano and naming it after Brad's grandbaby and calling it like the WB or the William Brad. Like his name's William Bradley. So I wanted to call it like the WB or something like that, and kind of the honor of the grandbaby, and call it like the legacy. You start a legacy line. Um.
Call
So
so if I may, a
yeah, yeah,
play
yeah.
on that. I'm from Chicago. Call it the Little Cub
Oh,
because the WB is the symbol of the channel that has the exclusive uh Cubs baseball games is on the WB. My cousin is literally WGN. Or I'm sorry, yeah, WGN. So I'm sorry, I got my things confused. The WB is not that. WGN is that. Strike that, reverse it, forget I said all of that. I was getting ahead of myself. I apologize. But either way, I think the little cub might be a fun one.
yeah. That's a good call. And it'd be funny too because it was going to be a bigger stick because he was a pretty big baby. He was almost 10 pounds. And so that would even be funny to call it like the something like the little cub, and then have it be like a 6x60.
Okay.
You know what I
Like
mean? Just
yeah,
like a
yeah,
little,
absolutely. Do a little chunky cub, the chunky cub.
yeah,
I think that'd be fun. I think that'd be
absolutely.
fun. Yeah, no, the WB is a station in Chicago. WGN, I correct myself, is the station with the Cubs channel. I
What
apologize.
was uh, what was Howard Stern?
Um,
WNBC,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
WNBC.
WNBC. So so here in closing, one of the things I was curious about, and I don't need you to spend a whole lot of time on it, but I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about it because it's in the news and everything. How are these tariffs going to affect Zeal?
That's a good question. Um, you know, there's a couple manufacturers that have handled this the right way, and there's a couple that haven't, right? depending on how you want to look at it. The manufacturers, in my opinion, that handled it the right way just added a line item. 6 to 8% line item as an extra charge on top of all the cigars you're buying.
To fall off when that falls off.
Bingo.
Yep.
If
That's
it
what
falls off,
Saka's doing. That's what
right?
Saka's doing.
And the cool thing about that is not only does it prevent those companies from making a price change that they're not going to backtrack on, but it also allows us as retailers to spread that tariff cost over the whole order and not one specific cigar. Right? So if we needed to raise prices, we could just raise all of the cigars 25 cents
Correct.
instead of one cigar $1.30 or $1.20, whatever, right? Now, as it pertains to my house brand cigars, only one of my cigars have went up since the tariff so far. And what's funny about that is he called me and he was super apologetic.
He is in the manufacturer.
Correct. Yeah. We'll call him Uncle Remus. So Uncle Remus calls and brother, I'm really sorry. I got to raise prices, 20 cents on these cigars. And I was like, brother, you haven't raised prices on us in 6 years on anything. And every deal and every price that was solidified and made before I took over this business, he has honored. So I just took the phone call and was like, brother, like Uncle Remus, bro, it's good, dude. Like it's okay. 20 cents is okay. And
my clients wish I only raised them 20 cents every 6 years.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So like, I can deal with that. And I think my customers can deal with that too. Is it great? No, but I mean, if my spice cream goes from $6.25 to $6.50, big deal.
So
it's still $6 to $10 cheaper than most of the other Connecticut's in that space.
Absolutely. And so
the most comparable to that cigar would be the Oliva Connecticut Reserve, and that sells for around 10.
Yeah. And the spice cream is somebody was smoking the spice cream earlier, I think they said on the show.
Best-selling cigars 6 years straight. It's not even close.
You know what? Everybody dogs Connecticut's, but it's the number one selling wrappered cigar. Period. Absolutely.
James from Sinistro said something that was really funny. I love James. He's one of those like unicorns in the industry. He's just a character. But he's a good dude. And he goes, he says, my Connecticut's what's going to make me money. My Maduro's what's going to make me famous.
Okay.
His Connecticut will pay the bills. His Maduro's what's going to make him famous. And
that's not necessarily wrong. I mean, that's not necessarily wrong. I have some. We have some Lancero fans that watch the show, and you guys have some amazing Lanceros. Are we going to continue to get great Lanceros, or are you not a big Lancero guy?
So I personally am not a big Lancero guy. I bring them in when people are like, dude, where's the Lanceros? And then I just had those Casa Magna Lancero boxes that were just available. Those went super fast. It was a very limited edition 20 count box of all the Casa Magna and Cusada line in a Lancero. It was super cool. And there was 2 of each Lancero in the box, and those sold out almost overnight. But I used to have a couple Lanceros we called the Journeyman. Unfortunately, I'm working on trying to find another Lancero that will fit in the portfolio that makes sense. The other ones were starting to get a little bit overpriced for the value that we were getting out of the tobacco. And again, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to overcharge. I smoke everything that comes in here, and I don't bring anything in that I can't smoke. If a rep wants me to bring something in, I'm usually like, I got to have it. I'm not buying it. If I can't smoke it, I'm not buying it.
And that makes total sense. That makes total sense. What about Coco Chemist? We have a request here. Bring back the Coco Chemist.
I would love to, but unfortunately, when a factory asks you to launder money for them, you kind of tell them to kick rocks.
Oh, so that's interesting.
Yeah, so all those blends that were lost with that factory, the person that we were working with at that factory was kind of put into a corner of, Yeah, you're not going to get your blends unless you launder money for us. And we made the decision to tell them to sit and spin and kick rocks, bro.
Well, that was the best business decision you guys could have made, because that wouldn't have turned out really well for you guys.
I can tell you that I've given those cigars to who I think are a couple of the best blenders in the industry. And they actually told me, one of the guys, it was Luciano, actually. I'll just tell you who it was. It was Luciano. Luciano smoked it and told me exactly who made it.
Some of these guys are really good.
Well, Luciano's a freak. You got to understand. He's got synesthesia. His senses are flipped. He can taste colors. He can see music when he just listens to it. So like, it's different. The way that his brain perceives those kind of senses is just very, very different. So a guy like him can smoke a cigar and basically see the DNA on paper where we can't. You know what I mean? So he smoked it and he said, hey, was it made at this factory, and was this the wrapper? Yeah, it was. Can you freaking get it for me? So,
well, I will tell you, I've had this conversation with Brad, and I pushed him for it because it was such a big part.
Ryan, you muted.
Oh, hello? Am I muted? How am I muted?
I can't hear you.
Okay, one sec.
I don't know if anybody else can.
Can you hear
Your
me
hand,
now?
like, went
Can
down
you hear
towards
me
the
now?
keyboard, and then like nope.
Can you hear me? No, no. Okay, what the heck? This is ridiculous. Hold on. Okay,
Maybe it's me.
This is.
There we go.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, okay. So I'd actually told Brad this would have been kind of a fun one for him to do, but do a pepper bomb and call it the carnivore.
Yeah, but then, so I might have to fight Steve Saka then.
Why?
He's got the Red Meat Lovers Club.
No, but the carnivore is a pepper bomb in an influence of how he cooked his meat at the end, which was just salt and pepper.
Oh, you're talking because Brad was on that carnivore diet?
Yes, that's what I mean. I used to tell him, because I always wanted a pepper bomb from him. And I was like, dude, you only use salt and pepper. Make a carnivore. Make a cigar that's a really good salt and pepper driven cigar, salty, really pepper, and call it the carnivore.
Yeah, could do that.
I don't know. It's just what I've been blasted in his ear that he always told me to go pound sand for. Most of the time, my ideas he told me to go pound sand on, but I still gave it to him anyways, you know. But
I've got something I'm working on with Rojas potentially, and I've got way too many things going on right now, dude. That's why I said I just got to focus on like where my foot goes next.
Oh yeah, no, I'm the wrong person to bring into these conversations because I just throw shit out there all the time.
So Rojas has a cigar that they potentially can make for me that is very reminiscent of taco meat, just like most of their cigars are. And I was gonna do something with it and call it like the Taco Tuesday.
Ooh.
And only sell it on Tuesdays.
And you only sell it in 2-packs. Two for Tuesday. Two Taco Tuesday. Only sell it in 2-packs. That's a fun little gimmick, dude. Only sell it in 2-packs. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
See,
so I got a lot of stuff in the works right now. It's just a matter of like writing it all out, saying, okay, what's the most important thing? Let's get that one done. What's the next most important thing? Let's get that one done. So, I just, the golf simulator thing is something I got to get done. It's just that, it brings more people in. It's a diversification of the portfolio. I got to get Brad's cigar done for a lot of different reasons. So, those are probably two of the biggest things on my priority list right now.
Well, JB, you've got big britches to fill in this industry, to put it politely and kindly. We all expect
they were shrinking. He was losing weight. The pants were shrinking.
He was
they were a little closer to my size.
Still a lot bigger than you. And so we expect within the next 12 months that you also have a beard or goatee.
Call me in 10 years. I told you, bro. I'm Shawnee and Cherokee, bro. I don't even have chest hair, bro. Like, nah, bro.
He
This doesn't
waxes,
grow.
guys. Don't believe him. He
You,
waxes.
you might get a dirty mustache from me, but then everybody's gonna tell me that my channel needs to be over 18 because I'm scaring people.
Dirty Sanchez. No, I'm just totally kidding. But anyways, JB, thank you so much, man, for coming on. You know, you always have a home here. If you ever need to get, your channel is significantly bigger than mine is, but if you ever need an additional home to live at for a little bit or for a show, you're always welcome to come on.
Yeah, bro.
You know, from the bottom of my heart, man, I love you, brother. I know we haven't met, but I one of the things I've learned about Brad is I trust his opinion on somebody, and when he trusts somebody, I automatically give them my trust as well. And it means a lot to me to still see the Zeal brand alive and moving forward and growing. That truly does mean a lot to me. That means a lot to a lot of us in the industry. So, when best case scenario are we expecting Brad Cigar, faithful servant?
I mean, what is June, July? Probably by the end of summer. My original goal was by his birthday, but
Yep.
I don't know logistically if that's just realistic with everything that I need to do to make that happen properly. So yeah, I don't know yet.
Are we gonna do a release
Hopefully by the
party for
oh,
that?
bro, I don't know what I'm gonna do with that yet, but I'm gonna do something, man. It's gonna be something. We'll figure it out. I might, maybe we'll have those crooked beard cigar holders ready by that time or something, or like a cup or like a coaster or something with like his name, like his face, like embedded in the coaster or something. I don't know. We'll figure something out.
Toilet paper would be maybe.
Toilet paper.
I'm just totally kidding. I always told him that. There was. I'll tell you the story afterwards. But anyways, um, but no, from the bottom of my heart, brother, I wish you the best. All of us here watching the show wish you the best. Brad was much more than a friend. He was a mentor. I loved him immensely. And not a day goes by, and I'm speaking only for myself. I couldn't imagine what you, but not a day goes by where I don't think about him. And I told you privately, my little way, I still communicate with him that I know nobody else will ever see. And it's it's one of those things that I love knowing you're at the helm because we have a great captain to replace the one that we all lost, and I'm very happy that you took over the business.
I appreciate that, man. I'm my own worst critic, man, and that's something that Brad did more better than anybody in this world, man. Is he built confidence in people,
He did.
and he built
He did.
confidence in me that um, he knows how much I appreciate, but I don't think I ever really got the chance to really show him how much.
I
That's why this matters.
absolutely. And he was supposed to always coming up. He was always supposed to come out and visit and go to Cigar Fest, and never had the opportunity to meet him. And it'll always be one of my biggest regrets. But I'm super glad that you and I have stayed friends. That Zeal is still around, and that vision is still going. And please, by all means, Bruce says if you wanted to come on and do a release
Hey,
on
there
the
we go.
show, I would feel immensely honored. Obviously, after your own, but I would feel immensely honored if you wanted to come on and do something like that. We can make that work. Um,
Absolutely.
so, from the bottom of my heart, man, thank you so much, JB, for coming on. And you always have a home here. And until we see you all, I'll tell you what, JB, close this out. Tell everybody why to choose Zeal and
Oh,
and
man.
why to support.
Man, the best thing I could say is like support us because we support you, right? My goal is to find affordable products that are just as good as everything else that is in the industry. And um if you don't believe that my palate's good enough to find that stuff, I could just say, go back and watch all the videos, do some of the blind reviews, some of it's validated. And That's the biggest thing, right? Like, I just want to create a community that's happy around cigars, excited around stuff that's different, new, and unique, and provide a product to people that if you want to grab that expensive cigar every now and then, you got something you can smoke in between time that is both amazing and affordable.
Absolutely, and will compare to any of the more expensive cigars that you are going to be going with. So, JB, thank you so much for coming on tonight. And
Thank you.
until we see you again, smoke what you like, smoke so many fucking Zeal cigars that you can, and have a great rest of your week.